Okay, hopefully everyone can see the screen okay. Richard, you seeing that okay?
Yeah, that's grand, yep.
100%. Well then, thanks very much for joining today. And we're just going to take you through an in-depth walkthrough of the latest release and key functionality that you now have access to help improve your profits. And at the end, we're also going to go through a couple of the previous releases and the key functionality merchants are rolling out, and some of the success stories we're seeing on the back of that. I think Lindsay just joined there now. Hopefully, the team of Best Men's Work can hear us okay. But we'll fire on. So again, thanks very much for joining. Today, again, similar to last week, you're joined by myself, David, Head of Customer Success, and Richard Fraser, Customer Success Manager at IRP. Again, we talk and communicate quite a bit, but we're here to help guide and strategically lead using your e-commerce journey. Always at the start, we like to always reset and really bring together why you guys are on IRP and what the IRP ethos around what merchant first is. And it's always about putting the merchant at the center and helping them with their choices. And it's all about giving you guys visibility, control over your profits, and it's bringing that to the forefront. Today we're going to be covering a number of enhancements and improvements to Trader across sales analysis, mission control. We have additional reporting columns, split testing upgrades, an IRP app overview with a number of improvements on that, and some changes to the personalization that a number of merchants have rolled out.
Yeah, so I'll just take over in the MAS slides. Now, obviously, we covered this off last week for anyone who wasn't here. Come back to basics again, really looking at traffic, conversion rate, and average order value. Now, what we've done this week is we've actually dropped in 2 examples there. So you can see, obviously, the 2 real-time examples. There you can see the main discrepancy or the difference here in the figures is around the conversion rate. So there's been a 0.2% increase in conversion rate in the lower example there, and that's actually resulted in an £80,000 uplift there. So whether that be on a monthly or a yearly basis, that is significant for any merchant there who's working through the various conversion related tasks that we would refer back to within the action plan. So I would suggest there having a play around with the sales calculator. It is included at the very bottom of the positions page or positions tab within Trader, and really even model out the 12 months there. So have your sessions, your conversion rate, your average order value modeled out there monthly, January through December. And if you obviously have an overall sales target for the year, just know exactly how many sessions, what your conversion rate needs to be, and what your average order value needs to be monthly there to achieve the sales target you're working towards. So David, if you just want to click through there to the next slide. And again, this is similar to last week, talking about profits. One thing I've added in the slide as well, when David shares the slides, there's an IRP definitions page within irpcommerce.com. So you can click through on the definitions there and really drill down into what the terminology sort of relates to here, in particular the e-commerce gross profit, and how you actually come to that figure, and then you're taking your overheads obviously away from that, and you're landing at your net profitability. It's a real sort of the key figure I think that all merchants need to be focusing on is really around net profit there. David, if you want to move on there to the next slide then.
Yeah. And just to kind of to wrap up from Richard's, in terms of in e-commerce, there's obviously so many metrics and so many things that you can be focusing on, but e-commerce is very mathematical, and it's always important to go back to the fundamentals and the 3R: traffic, conversion, and AOV, and they are the 3 things that you can control. And it's always important that you're maximizing the opportunity across those three levers. On this slide, we're on to the key changes in Trader. Everyone in e-commerce managers, account managers, service providers, there's never enough time in the day, and the whole point behind Trader is bringing you the right data at your fingertips. So in the latest release, you will have seen tying into the mathematical equations, traffic, conversion, and AOV, and then your sales margins, profit, and e-commerce gross profit directly on the first screen of mission control, and you can then filter by date ranges, time, and really, rather than spending hours looking for this data, we're giving you at your fingertips in seconds. And it's kind of, these are what you can control, and it's about making sure your cost of sale, your CPA is correct, and as a business you are overall are profitable. And throughout this we'll be kind of chatting about success stories and how this all ties together. But a net profit for an e-commerce business. I'm just going to make sure everyone is muted, and just make sure no further interruptions. Apologies about that. So the next slide then is this is directly in sales analysis. So with IRP Trader, it's first party data, and it's full accuracy. We've seen in the last number of months, years, the sort of from the likes of Google, Facebook, and the key traffic channels, cookies being phased out, with GDPR policies tracking cookie compliance, etc. External third-party tools may only be able to track up 50% of the data. With IRP, it's 100% accurate, and that's right down to product level. So in sales analysis, either at brand, category, or model level, there's now an overview, so you can see group, whether it's the stock holding, product conversion rate, sales margin, and profit. And as part of these upgrades, there's been a couple of new filters added into the power filter. So looking at active products, you can only look at active or inactive. Obviously, a lot of retailers, there'll be a lot of new products in every season, so you can filter the data to only be looking at active products today. And again, you can also export the full data set from IRP into an Excel sheet for further analysis. So by cutting down what data you're exporting, you're only focusing on the key data that you need. And again, it's always about the key business metrics and making sure businesses are focusing on the bottom line, the gross profit, the costs, and e-commerce gross profit. So it's bringing those across the board. And by giving you this visibility, it's helping you to just another member joining there. Sorry, it's making you make sure that the best business decisions, you're pushing the right products. A lot of the merchants would be using this to look at the likes of product views, what products are getting the most views, what products are selling, what products aren't selling. And it's easy to sell the things that are selling, but we've all got big warehouses, and it's important to look at what you've got on your shelf, how long it's been on the shelf, and then pulling together strategies to shift those low selling lines, whether that's bundling in with the better selling products, but you obviously want to keep stock turning over. And the power filter then allows you to filter by traffic channel, mobile, desktop. Obviously from the previous screen, there's plenty in there in terms of order type, stock, models, categories, down to traffic sources. So a lot of merchants will use the traffic source one to filter down by email in certain date ranges, so you can see what products were sold off the back of emails. The same from PPC campaigns. So there's a lot of granular in there that you can really understand how your customers are shopping and what is driving them to convert. The next slide then is around the column configuration that we added in, where if you're a clothing retailer, and we all know returns are a major issue, and having a handle on that, it's only going to help improve the business. So there's a couple of new columns around returns, returns percentage, and sales and profit as well. So you can modify the view that you see to ensure that the right data is there for you at all times. And return rates, you can factor those into your advertising strategies. There's no point in pushing products that have a 80-90% return rate, and it's about pushing the right product at the right time.
Just moving on then to the mission control positions tab. So So this is a work in progress. I think whenever we originally started out, it was really just to look at the sessions conversion and average order value there. One thing I would point out about the positions tab is a grid view. So here we're looking at graphs and we're comparing 2022 versus 2023 essentially. But flipping there to the grid view allows you to see the exact numbers here. And like I was saying in the first set of slides there around the sort of mathematics behind e-commerce, you can quickly build out a sort of a three or four column table there with your sessions conversion, average order value, and your sales values, and then have those listed out for each month of the year, and always have a target to work towards each month. In addition to sessions conversion, average order value, we're looking at a profitability reporting there. We've also, if you're about halfway down the page there, you can expand and you can see your channels performance. So you'll get PPC performance in there, email marketing, and your social channels are included as well. So you can look at your sales figures, and you can also look at your costs and your CPAs. I sort of view the mission control positions tab as really like a storytelling tab, or something that tells a story of a business quite quickly there. So within sort of 5 minutes, you can see, if a merchant is maybe down 30% on last year, if you look at cost correlation is typically in line with that, where costs have maybe significantly dropped off there, and that can then lead to a conversation with your service provider there to say, by the way, our sales are down, but actually our costs are down there as well. Is there anything that we need to be alarmed about? And then finally, just at the bottom of the positions tab there, we do have the live calculator. It's sort of, it's at the very bottom, so it's a bit, out of the way there. But I would definitely sort of reinforce that it should be used, and you should be looking at that there quite regularly, to try and sort of model out what your sales figures potentially look like, and then build your actions and your action plan towards sessions conversion, average order value. We'll move on there, David. Yeah, and then we have the new time of day reporting in here as well. So we touched on it briefly last week there. Now we can separate this out by country and looking at the time of day reporting within IRP, and we can then build out our advertising campaigns there. So whether that be with your PPC provider, and looking at sort of days of the week where performance is quite good in comparison to others. Also looking at times there, I think open rates around emails. It's interesting to have a look at email performance on particular days of the week, particular times when people might purchase there. So definitely would really sort of, I would point you towards using the time of day reporting there to try and get as much out of that as possible, and seeing if there's any correlation there with sales through your channels as well.
Perfect. The next few slides all kind of tie in the trader, but it's all, the ethos is all about understanding your customer. We've seen from merchants this year, the more they've researched, the more they understand their customer. That's had a profound impact on their conversion rate. On screen is the split testing section. It's existed for a while in Trader, but in the latest release, there has been a major upgrade to it to allow for split testing of banners. So across the board, whether it's your USP banners, your heading banner and the home page, the basket page, product page, or the checkout, your messaging is the biggest thing that impacts your conversion rate. So whether that's a 10% sign off on first order, free returns, shipping thresholds, a contact number, Trustpilot or FIFO reviews, it's important that you're continually testing, and you can do this on a country by country basis. So obviously a different message will resonate with a UK audience as it would maybe with an Irish customer. And you can maybe do a couple of tests, one test per country at a time, make one change, measure, and we move on to the next. But certainly whenever you sort of view your live tests, IRP showcases the clear winner. If there is one, it automatically splits the traffic, and you'll have, tying back to the metrics, a defined traffic conversion and AOV for each test. So we would encourage you to work with your account manager. They've got numerous use examples, cases that they're rolling out with their merchants at the minute. So we would encourage everyone to kind of get involved in that and constantly question and ask, are your customers getting the right message at the right time? And you can do that on desktop, on mobile, and again, country by country. we would recommend maybe running a test for 2 to 4 weeks to give it time to get a fair set of results. But that is built directly into the admin and trader, and then you'll always have a record of your tests and your results. But it's always that methodology: continue learning, try and understand your customer the best possible.
I think David, with ourselves, are obviously having sort of oversight of well, obviously all IRPs there. It's advantageous there. We can see, split tests have been rolled out for particular merchants. Should sort of tax and duty messaging be included there? Obviously, Brexit scenario. The selling has changed there by territory. So we will work with the account managers as well there, just looking at the results that the different merchants are seeing. And if there is a consistency there, we'll put forward and we'll feedback on that as well. So but yeah, definitely split testing there and messaging is vitally important, particularly around the conversion rate. So I think some people just sort of look over it at times and don't really pay much attention to it. But we have seen massive improvements in our conversion rate with customers who have went into this, and it's significant depth and detail.
And on that, like, it's easy. We're all looking at the sites every day. If you're in a business, you're doing that yourself. It's easy to kind of almost just get used to your site the way it is. But if you take it from a customer's perspective, if they land on your site for the very first time, that's where everything needs to be on point. The next slide then is around feedback improvements and this being built into IRP. So again, it ties into the split testing, and the next slide around the checkout funnel. But directly from your IRP, you can have exit intent triggers to ask your customers questions, whether that's on the basket page, a certain brand or category, or through the checkout, as well as after they have purchased. You can see from this screen, like, where this was a customer acquisition question once they had actually purchased, was how did you hear of, or how did you come across our business? So you can see outlining the biggest things were internet search, Google, online. What the takeaway from this was, a lot of people purchasing from this site had never heard of the website before they landed on it. So it does show, and again, it ties back to the massive opportunity, and it shows Google the critical importance that Google has on any e-commerce business. And the better that can be optimized from organic to PPC, the more traffic you're going to get to your site, the more customers you're going to have. But there's a lot of flexibility there across the desktop and mobile. And we would encourage e-commerce managers, account managers work together on that, come up with a subset of questions and get some rolled out, and just do it for a couple of weeks. And really, it does bring another level of understanding of your customer and what makes them happy. The next slide then is around the checkout funnel. So previous releases, there was major updates to the drop basket functionality, how that works with GDPR, and giving you visibility of identifiable customer baskets and anonymized ones and what's there. But the next level is the checkout funnel. So because we do have accurate data and tracking the whole way through the site, we're able to deliver a checkout funnel that lets you see where customers are dropping off. And this is a really good sort of area to start when you're trying to stop the bucket leaking of sorts. So if someone has got to the checkout page, they've entered their card details, and then they've decided, well, actually, I'm not going to buy, there has to be something very specific to why they wouldn't purchase, because they've gone to the effort of taking their card out of their wallet. Again, you can layer that with the feedback tool, where you could ask on a specific step, what stopped you buying today? And for the merchants that have rolled this out, there's been a lot of insights gained from that. And they've been able to take that back in, review their message in the checkout, and off the back of that, they have reduced the drop-off rate throughout the checkout. And I think it's all about starting at the bottom and working back up. So there's a lot of key takeaways now that we've given visibility to that. So that's all available directly in your IRP admin under the drop baskets. And relating to the checkout funnel, obviously such a big piece of e-commerce is around payments. In the last couple of years, there's been lots of changes with 3DS V2, the enforcing of that, and the knock-on impact. Again, it all does come down to your age of your customers or your audience, your segment, whether it's younger, older, and being up to date with 3ds V2 apps, etc. But again, it's all about giving you visibility of the data. So from this screen, you can see the number of people that started the payment, successful, declined, and failed. To the right, you have the countries and the logs. So you may identify that in the US, you have a payment issue or a payment card not supported. So this page updates every single day and it's live. So do keep an eye on this. And whenever you're looking through the logs, there will be specific reasons. We had a merchant the other week who quickly identified there was an issue with their PayPal account. And it kind of does give you a breakdown for Apple Pay, Google Pay, PayPal, Klarna, and all of the international payment methods as well. So it is for e-commerce managers, it's an important area to keep an eye on, and it does give you visibility very quickly if your website has any payment issues.
And just covering off the IRP app and conversations with multiple merchants who've maybe been on the platform for a number of years and don't actually use the app or haven't known about it. So as a first step there, I've dropped the URL in, and this is free of charge, and all merchants can access the app there from their smartphone. So it gives you a really good snapshot of business performance there, and essentially includes all the sort of critical figures there that you typically see within Trader. I would recommend use of the app for all business owners, e-commerce managers, account managers, even service providers as well who are involved with accounts there. Just going back on David's drop baskets, I'm really trying to address leakage there from the basket. You've obviously paid the money to get the customer to the site. You've done the work with conversion on the front end and trying to get the customer through the basket, and then you're seeing typically high loss basket values there. Just in the left screenshot that I've taken there from the app. So lost basket values or potential sales that you could have had there. So by addressing, sort of looking at the checkout funnel, that would be a good starting point there to try and really find out, use the incoming feedback there, and to find out from customers exactly why they aren't getting all the way through there. And you'll see profitability reporting as well there, just in the middle screenshot. I've taken out the figures here for the reasons of the merchant, and then also you've got sort of month-on-month performance as well. And then finally there on the right hand side you see the traffic source costs. So these are taken from the channels, they're entered by your account manager at the end of each month. So you've got full visibility of CPAs across all your different channels there, based on last click attribution. And it helps you dive into sort of where the profitable channels are, what channels are performing well, and maybe what channels need a bit of work and attention there. And then just a few other points there around the app as well. So we have sales analysis covered off there towards as you scroll to the bottom of the page there, and you can see sales analysis typically around top products. So even maybe merchandising and buying there, and it might be worthwhile, the buyers within your business having access to this as well. And you can see sales by country. So if you've kicked off advertising campaigns with PPC providers or email marketing campaigns where you're specifically targeting different countries there, and you can see those countries and if sales have sort of picked up in the last 24 hours, 7 days, 30 days, and just to know if things are progressing there. Again, you've got sales by brands, by categories, and then you also have customer data in there as well, and sales by device and KPIs. And then finally there on the right screenshot, you'll see keynotes as well. So obviously account managers would be leaving keynotes against the accounts you're working on, and David and myself there as well. For any changes or updates that we make, we would leave keynotes there too. So it's easily accessible through the app there too. So definitely worthwhile downloading and making use of, if you haven't already done that.
Perfect. On to the next few slides then are just covering off high level functionality that has come in a number of previous releases, but we just kind of want to make everyone aware of that functionality that a small number of merchants have started to roll out. So obviously in the last sort of 12 months, we've seen TikTok as a channel explode. I think there's more people on TikTok than there is in YouTube in terms of minutes of video viewed per day. If any of you merchants are on YouTube, you can now connect anyone on YouTube or TikTok can connect their TikTok ads account directly to IRP. So you have in-channel reporting, and you can measure the ROI, and you'll be confident that that channel is driving incremental revenue. The next slide is around product page updates. If you're happy to cover that one off.
Yeah. So just this is one now that's been available probably for the last 6 or 7 months. David and myself have rolled out on a couple of merchants, clothing retailers actually, just for visualization of the products that are available there. Now, just looking at results for both those merchants, in the time periods where this has been live on the desktop. We had one merchant, Cozy Mac, who are actually in view here now. So doing a bit of analysis on previous period versus after the functionality was not live there. The conversion rate on the desktop improved by 24%. Mobile stayed about I think it was 2% or 3% on the previous period. So it shows there that desktop has significantly improved by rolling out this functionality. And I would encourage anyone who's sort of selling, I think, visual clothing, footwear, and probably higher average order value product there as well, and really to consider rolling this one out, just in terms of where that's located in IRP. You're in the products and the models section, and then it's under other model information, and there is a setting called desktop images display style. David also rolled this out on a merchant of his as well, and they did see over a previous 7-day period versus after the functionality was live, a 37% increase. So definitely worth having a look at there and rolling out. If you speak to your account managers about that, quite a simple one, and you can test, as I say, you can have a look at the conversion rates there on short time frames to see how that works.
And on the product pages, you can either do it, depending on what product you sell, you can either do it on a subset of products, or you can do it for the full site. So you do have that flexibility. There's some products that work really well for, and some the standard kind of images to the left or underneath may work better. But it's like, as Richard pointed out, a number of really good use cases and real world examples of it has significantly improved the product conversion rate.
And then just another one in relation to volumetric shipping weights there. So more and more couriers are now demanding the use of volumetric shipping weights as opposed to incremental, weights that we would have been supplying there for merchants. In the past, this has stopped some of the merchants from truly internationalizing, and those who are selling bulky, lightweight items have typically actually held off trying to push those items in other territories. I'm just thinking on the top of my head there, from fishing tackle and bait, fishing rods was an example there. Quite a long package that didn't weigh that much. I think the shipping costs there was actually leading to loss making. Equestrian retailer there as well, selling saddles, who are now looking to truly internationalize and push those products that they wouldn't have done so before. So that's just a couple of settings there. It's set at the stock level, again within your product models view, and you can just update. You'll see the postage weight and volumetric highlighted there, and that's where you highlight that, or you update that, sorry. And if you want to move on then, David, just to the next slide. And then you can specifically at the shipping rule level, and there's just a tick box there now included against each shipping rule, that allows you to use a volumetric weight. So pretty simple, straightforward, but it's just allowed our merchants to really try and push those products that they would have had restricted previously in some territories.
The next screen is around customers being able to track their order themselves. So we had certainly over the last year, Q4 is the busiest time for a lot of retail merchants, and we got feedback that lots of customers are having to handle email inbound to update the customer where their order is, where the tracking is. But with the track my order page, and we have set this up and accessible on all IRPs on the front end for the customer. But a customer can come on the site, enter their order number under email, and they press track my order, and it will give them full visibility of where their order is, what stage of the order process it's in, whether it's pick and packing, whether it's been dispatched. If it's been dispatched, it will have the tracking number, and it will also have a tracking URL to take them to the courier page. So one merchant in particular had thousands of emails in their inbox, and off the back of this functionality rolling out, they were able to set up automated workflows. With, if someone asked where my order was, the email system automatically sent them this link, and the customer could almost self-serve and find out. And then time that saved from a customer service point of view was quite a lot, and drove a lot of efficiencies in the business. It is important to ensure that with your shipping methods, you have up-to-date courier URLs, so that whenever the customer does come to here, the tracking URL and tracking ID, they match up. But that is across mobile, desktop, and it doesn't matter if the customer at the time of purchase signed up for a full account or a guest account. They will be able to retrieve the details on their order. So again, one for the customer service team and operations, but a great time efficiency savings, and taking a bit of manual labor out of that day-to-day role.
And then finally, I think this is the last slide before we close up here. But just in terms of the blog, there have been improvements to the blog on both desktop and mobile there, and giving more flexibility to the user experience. Now, this is Green Angel, obviously, and really we're incorporating products and a mixture of content there as well. So previously it was purely content based. But having the ability now to include the products there within the blogs, I think it aids towards actually selling using the blog there, and not just using that as a content piece. So that has worked well, in particular for Green Angel here.
And as well on that, we had a number of merchants who used externally hosted blogs, whether that was WordPress. Off the back of our improvements, they have started bringing across their blog to host directly on the IRP. Obviously, it's under the same domain, will help from a content perspective, domain authority. But as Richard said, the big benefit of having your blog hosted in IRP is you can build a story and a narrative around your product. So you're not always constantly just product email. It's why are people buying into your community or your experience? So say the uptake in that has been pretty good. But it's again just to make you aware of it as well. The very last slide, I would say we're pretty much finished up, is really just, we used this slide last week around some of the success stories we've seen in Q1, whether that was sales growth, reducing CPA, or rolling out additional functionality, whether that's the product personalization. We've seen good conversion rate uplifts in that, but I'd say just there is, obviously this year Q1 has been challenging. We're about a few percent up when we compare to last year if we take the merchants as an average. But it's really, there is a lot of success stories out there. There's merchants growing anywhere from 50, 60, 70%. So it's always about do the basics well, and there is opportunities for growth there. And we are continually to invest and work on the IRP product, and we will be bringing more releases and improvements as we go through the year. But we just want to kind of bring everyone up to speed on what's rolled out to this year to date. But that's us pretty much wrapped up for today. We will stop screen sharing and stop the recording now. Just want to say a big thanks again for everyone who joined today. And we will have a couple of minutes here for questions as well.